Imagine a world teeming with giant, strange creatures and unforgiving landscapes. How did Homo sapiens, mere survivors in the wilderness, manage to conquer the planet? What made them the dominant force of the Earth, pushing their way into every corner of the globe? This isn't just a story of survival. It's a journey of evolution, power, and relentless adaptation. What set them apart from every other species? The early days of Homo sapiens were defined by sheer struggle. The world was a wild, brutal place, filled with large predators, hostile climates, and dwindling resources. Homo sapiens were not the largest or the fastest, yet they survived. They walked on two legs, their faces hardened by the elements, their eyes alert to every movement in the wilderness. Survival wasn't just about strength. It was about the ability to outthink and outlast the predators and competitors surrounding them. Around 2 million years ago, the landscape was different. Vast open savannas stretched across Africa, dotted with pockets of forest and water holes. It was a time of great change. The ancestors of Homo sapiens had evolved from the earlier species of Homo habilis and Homo erectus, each passing generation refining tools, social structures, and strategies for hunting. The key: intelligence. Homo sapiens developed advanced tools not just for hunting, but for crafting, building, and most importantly, creating. Homo sapiens weren't alone in the struggle for dominance. The wild world was home to other human species, Neanderthals, Denisovans, and even rival species of Homo sapiens themselves. But what made Homo sapiens stand out wasn't just physical strength or even their tools. It was their ability to cooperate. Where other species struggled in isolation, Homo sapiens formed tight-knit groups, working together to hunt, gather, and defend. Cooperation, rather than brute force, became their greatest weapon. Around 2 million years ago, this sense of collaboration took on a new form. The first evidence of social groups, where individuals worked together for mutual benefit, appeared in the archaeological record. Early Homo sapiens hunted in packs, their advanced tools, giving them an edge over the larger, more powerful predators. But it wasn't just about hunting. It was about survival in numbers. Together, they could defend their territory, share food, and protect their young from harm. The key to Homo sapiens' success was their ability to adapt to their environment. It wasn't just hunting that made them successful. It was the mastery of fire tools and communication. Fire became their lifeline. It allowed them to cook food, ward off predators, and create warmth in the cold. But more than that, fire represented control over nature, control over their environment. It was a tool that would set them apart from every other species. Along with fire, Homo sapiens crafted weapons and tools that were far beyond anything the world had seen. Spears, knives, axes, tools not only used for survival, but for building, for making shelter, and for exploring new frontiers. Homo sapiens didn't just survive, they engineered their way to power. Every stone tool, every fire started, and every step they took on the earth was a mark of progress, a sign that they were evolving into the dominant species on the planet. They had begun to shape their environment, and in doing so, they were shaping their future. As Homo sapiens thrived, their intelligence continued to evolve, reaching new heights with the development of language and culture. Communication became the bridge that connected individuals, creating a shared understanding and fostering complex social structures. It wasn't just about conveying needs, it was about building stories, passing down knowledge, and forming identities. Language was a tool that unlocked the potential for collaboration on a scale previously unimaginable. With it, Homo sapiens could plan, strategize, and transmit wisdom across generations. This newfound ability to communicate allowed them to organize, navigate, and conquer new territories. It was more than survival now. It was the beginning of a culture that would lay the foundations for civilization. Artifacts from this period reveal the first signs of art, music, and ritual. Homo sapiens painted on cave walls, created sculptures, and even buried their dead with offerings, showing that their consciousness was expanding. They weren't just existing, they were expressing themselves, reflecting their understanding of the world, their place in it, and their aspirations for the future. These early forms of culture began to give them a sense of identity and purpose that no other species had ever known. The world Homo sapiens inhabited was vast, filled with countless challenges and opportunities. Yet, they did not remain confined to one region. They spread across Africa and eventually to every continent. This great migration marked a turning point in their history, what drove them to leave their homes and explore the unknown. It was the relentless drive to adapt and overcome, to seek new territories and opportunities for survival. The first Homo sapiens to migrate would face unimaginable obstacles, crossing deserts, mountains, and seas. But their perseverance would pay off. Every new land they encountered presented its own set of challenges: strange climates, unfamiliar wildlife, and uncharted territories. Yet Homo sapiens adapted. They learned how to live in the cold, in the heat, in the deserts, and in the frozen tundra. They built shelter, found food, and created new technologies to survive. They mastered the art of travel, moving across rivers, mountains, and deserts, using their tools and knowledge to conquer the unknown. The migration wasn't just about survival, it was about growth. As Homo sapiens spread out, they encountered new environments, new challenges, and new species. With each step, they grew stronger, more capable, and more connected as a species. Their world was expanding, and with it, their influence. As Homo sapiens spread across the globe, they began to form more complex and organized societies. Small bands of hunter-gatherers gave way to larger communities, and with that growth came new challenges. The need to organize, govern, and manage resources became essential. This was the beginning of the first true human civilizations. Evidence from this era shows the emergence of early social structures where individuals began to assume roles beyond mere survival. Leaders, priests, and craftsmen emerged, and with them, the foundation of organized societies. These groups weren't just surviving, they were thriving, building lasting communities that could withstand the test of time. In these early civilizations, Homo sapiens didn't just rely on individual strength or intelligence. They began to understand the power of organization and cooperation. They developed systems of governance, trade, and agriculture that allowed them to feed larger populations and expand their influence. Agriculture was a game changer. By learning to cultivate the land, Homo sapiens could settle in one place, store food, and build cities. This shift from nomadic hunting and gathering to settled farming marked the dawn of a new era in human history. As these early societies developed, so too did their understanding of the world. From the first use of pottery and the wheel to the development of writing systems, Homo sapiens began to shape their reality in ways unimaginable to their predecessors. They built monuments, created art, and laid the groundwork for the technologies that would drive future civilizations. While the rise of organized societies marked a significant milestone in Homo sapiens' history, it also brought new challenges. The very nature of civilization, its growth, its prosperity, invited conflict. As resources became more scarce, territories more valuable, and populations' larger competition for power and resources led to war. The first recorded battles were fought not just for land or food, but for dominance. Early Homo sapiens learned to wield weapons, create fortifications, and strategize in ways that were far beyond what nature alone could have prepared them for. This marked a pivotal shift from survival to conquest. The conflicts weren't just about survival, they were about asserting control. The emergence of warriors, kings, and conquerors signified a new phase in Homo sapiens' evolution. Those who could command armies, lead people, and dominate rivals would shape the course of history. The battle for survival had transformed into a struggle for power, control, and influence. Yet even in war, Homo sapiens' greatest strength remained their ability to adapt and innovate. They built better weapons, developed stronger fortifications, and mastered the art of warfare. Each conquest was not just about territory, it was about survival of the fittest, the strongest, and the most clever.